All righty. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofix one, AJ. Happy Saturday, December 6th, 2025. Happy College Championship Saturday. It's going to be a good one. Not only do we have a great championship slate for today, we have an epic college basketball slate all day long as well. What a perfect day to kick your feet back and watch some sports. But before we go any further, do just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube, X, TikTok. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. But let's go ahead and go through the game plan. All right, game plan today, we're just going to go through the games. We're going to make some picks, and then we're going to log off and enjoy our Saturday. I like that plan a lot. I don't know about y'all. I like it a lot. Let's go ahead, jump right into it with the first game on the docket for college football championship Saturday. You got BYU and Texas Tech. Texas Tech, 12.5-point favorites here. 49.5 is the total, minus 520 on the money line for Texas Tech. Now, what a game we have here. And I mean, not only is it a good game on the field, but then you start talking about the off-field drama and everything that happened with Kalani Sitake and Crumble Cookies and the Mormon Church and Penn State. You have all of that going on in the background while BYU is getting ready for the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile, you have Texas Tech on the other side. Spent damn near more money than anybody on NIL this offseason and continued to push forward and show that, yes, you can pay to win. Texas Tech has looked really good this season, but so has BYU. And, you know, there was a lot of worry about BYU after Retzloff was forced out essentially for not following the code of conduct of the school. And then you have a true freshman in Bachmeier coming in here. And you know, it's very much of you don't know what you don't know with this team. And this team has been very good at being able to adjust to not knowing everything, but still coming out and winning football games and winning close football games when they needed to. Now, it's BYU's in a must-win situation here, obviously. You know what I mean? And it sucks because if BYU doesn't win this game, they're pretty much out of the college football playoff from what everything seems to be going. Not only that, though, but then you're talking about the only two losses for BYU is Texas Tech. Number 4 in the country, more likely going to be number 3 or 2 if they do come in and win this game. And, you know, it's a big point spread. It's a tight point spread. A big point spread at 12.5. Saw a lot of very close games yesterday. I mean, the North Texas game opened up a little bit, but still a lot of very close games. This is Championship Saturday we're talking about here. Where is the public at this morning on this one? You got 51% of the bets and pretty much everyone and their mom betting on BYU to cover that 12.5, 13.5 at some books. But all of the money and most of the bets, most of the money coming in on Texas Tech money line. And it's a hard spot. It's a hard spot. And I'm usually, I worked at Disney. I'm usually that guy that's like, oh, yeah, let's believe in the fairy tale. Let's believe in the journey and Kalani Sitake coming back, the boys being riled up for that, yada, yada, yada. But one thing that has shown time and time again is that the thing that can beat out a great fairy tale is a shit ton of oil money. And I think that's what we're going to have here with Texas Tech. I do like Texas Tech. I do like Texas Tech to win today. I'm iffy on that 12.5, but I'm going to rip the 12.5. I do think it's a very big spread for this game, and BYU more than capable. And again, it's very hard to beat a team twice. You know, we saw that with Kennesaw State and Jacksonville yesterday. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially in such a big moment. And you're going to be, quote unquote, in a neutral site at AT&T Stadium in Jerry World. I lean a little bit Texas Tech there. But BYU win. Yeah, no. If Duke wins today, all hell breaks loose. We're gonna get to that one in a little bit. BYU. I mean, if BYU gets it, if BYU wins this game, Texas Tech, BYU are in. Obviously, those are going to be the two Big 12 teams, and then everything else just kind of goes in there. But I'm on Texas Tech today. I like Texas Tech today. Who does A&M next week? I don't know yet, man. We're gonna have to wait for those schedules to come out. Because I mean, a lot of rest on that Duke game, Duke, Virginia, because if the ACC's out, then we're going to get some of those group of 5 schools in. But really, the only group of 5 school that looked ready for a college football playoff yesterday was Tulane, excuse me. And I thought the Green Wave looked extremely good yesterday. And that's really the only group of 5 team, though, that's like, whew. Yeah, Leak, the Duke Virginia game. Let's just get to that one right now because, you'll look at the numbers, you'll look at everything. Virginia should win this, right? Virginia should win this. But what has Duke been doing all season? They've just been a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? They've just been such a pain in the ass. Offensively, defensively, they can turn it on when they need to. And again, Duke taking that loss to Virginia a couple of weeks ago doesn't concern me. North Texas did look pretty good yesterday, too. I mean, that was a good game in general. We've been very lucky so far. Solid games all around. I'm ready for another round of them. And then we get the playoffs. Let's go. But, again, hard to beat a team twice. And I think the reason behind that, and other coaches have talked about this before. I'm not a coach, but coaches have talked about this before that, you beat a team and you know what worked against them. Where do you go from there? How do you game plan to be better than that, what you did? Because what you did was enough. And I mean, 34-17, that's a good margin of victory right there. It's a tight spread, as it should be. Where is the public on this one? Duke, Virginia. Okay, 63% of the bets, 26% of the money coming in on Virginia, but everyone and their mom betting money line Virginia. Not really shocking there. The heavy money, though, coming in on Duke here, 37% of the bets, 74% of the money. I mean, hey, that's some big money coming in there. And we are seeing a little bit of line movement, and that's and it's interesting. It's not completely reverse line movement, but it's like half and half, opened up at 3.5 to 4.5 at some books. What is my book at? What is my book at for that game? I have not looked at my book this morning. 4.5. Okay. I like that. 4.5. Not a lot of line movement, a little bit of reverse if you're looking at the money, but not reverse if you're looking at the bets. So it's very interesting where the book's posting the line there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to sit here and try to spew any bullshit stats that I can come up with or anything. I'm just rooting for chaos. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, do not believe that an ACC team this season belongs in the college football playoff. I don't see it. And listen, the ACC is as mid gets. And again, it's just where it's at. I think it's unbelievable that Duke's here, but I want Duke. And Virginia is more than likely going to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. Duke's been a pain in the ass, and they have the ability to game plan for what they did poorly last time versus what they can do now. I think they come in with a strong game plan. I'm going to take Duke plus the 4. I'm going to stay off that money line. I still think Virginia wins this one, and I'm not going to get the full chaos I want, but I want Duke. I want Duke to win. The ACC doesn't really deserve a seat at the table, in my opinion. But that's just me. But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, Arizona deserves to. No, Arizona doesn't deserve to be in. I'm not I'm just going with what I'm at. 3 weeks ago, class by 17. What are we doing here? I know. I like it. Miami, Ohio, Western Michigan. I love that we get the MAC. That's going to be a beautiful duo screen right there. I'm very excited for it. Miami, Ohio, Western Michigan. Western Michigan, 1.5 point favorites here. 43.5 is the total. Where is the public early in this game? 59% of the bet, 61% of the money coming in on Miami, Ohio. And Miami, Ohio has been an interesting team. The MAC's been an interesting conference this year. But I got to say, it's hard. It's the MAC, so I like the offense a lot on both of these teams. My first bet will be the over in this one. 43.5 seems just a little too low for a MAC championship, so I am going to be on the over 43.5 here. And yeah, it always feels like, the underdog stays in the MAC championship way too long. And I think that's why we're seeing the line still here at 1.5, opening up at 2.5. I'm going to be leaning on Miami, Ohio today, plus that 1.5. I might sprinkle that money line instead if we're going to be completely honest, but not at the top of my list right now. Whew. Oh, I clicked on this game again. That's my bad, guys. That's my bad. Let's get to the SEC, baby, because it's just different down there, guys. It's so different down there that College Game Day decided to go down to the SEC championship game instead of, a number 1 versus number 2 game. I mean, obviously, it just means more down there as it looks like we're about to get that interview with Lane Kiffin. I have to go back and listen to that and what bullshit he's spewing. What a week Lane Kiffin's had, huh? What a fucking week he's had. Bama, Georgia. Bama, 1.5 point dogs, plus 105. It's at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Dome, whatever the hell they're calling it now. It's sick as hell. It's the afternoon game, and I mean, it's a tough one. Sports betting dime for public money. Majin the Mystic, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never tried sports betting dime. I've always used Action Network for myself. And that's what me and my buddies use. And so that's just the one we've used. I've been using it for 6 years now. So I've not branched out, but I'll give it a look. I haven't seen that one in a while. Anyway, Georgia, Bama. Bama fans need to chill a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at on this one. Bama fans need to chill a bit. Okay, Kalen DeBoer has not done a shit job at Bama. Okay, you guys have been in the playoff talks. You guys have been in SEC champion talks. You're back here again. I believe Kalen DeBoer is going to be wearing the black hoodie. So can we just maybe take a chill pill? I'm sorry this first year in, he didn't go out and win a natty, and he's not exactly like Nick Saban, okay? I'm sorry. But let's be completely realistic here. There's not one head coach in college football right now that is as close to what Nick Saban is. And so, Bama fans, please, just chill a little bit. It's starting to get a little annoying. Oh, we need to fire DeBoer. You guys have he is an incredible head coach. And he is doing awesome at Bama. Give him another year, and he's still going to be as competitive. 10-2. Sorry, guys. So sorry. Anyway, I really like what this Bama team has developed into, though. And I think that might be one thing that Tide fans are a little bit impatient with, is that it does seem like it takes Bama a couple of weeks. It took Bama a couple of weeks in the beginning of the season to really kind of find their chemistry, find their groove, and find their identity of the team they wanted to be. And Kalen DeBoer at the head of it. And people want to point to the Auburn game like, well, why was the Auburn game? So it's the Iron Bowl. It's the Iron Bowl. I would say we see more Iron Bowls that are this close than we do absolute blowouts of any Iron Bowls. Whoa, man, 12. Thank you for the follow, brother. Appreciate you, dog. And Georgia, Kirby Smart. I mean, what do you want me to say about them that we haven't been saying for the past 4 or 5 years? It's a great defense with a solid offense. The quarterback knows what to do, and Kirby Smart's going to just try to go out and coach everybody. I mean, I'm also yes, I know. And I agree. It's a tight game, and that's why the book has it as tight as it is. Where is the public leaning on this one? Everyone's on, 60% of the bets, 40% of the bets on, 40% of the bets on Bama, 60% of the bets on Georgia. Money line, you're looking at 54% of the bets, 57% of the money on money line for Georgia, 46 and 43 for Bama. This is arguably the second hardest game of the day. The hardest game being Indiana, Ohio State. I'm gonna rip the Tide. I'm gonna go Tide here. I've been flip-flopping on this game all week. If you go back and watch our show on Wednesday, I'm flip-flopping in there too. And I mean, it's a hard game to pick. I am going to lean on Bama here, though. I like the development. I like that they have been in close games and know how to come out of those close games. Granted, not the best when it's like a South Carolina and an Auburn, but I can rationalize that and work my, mental gymnastics to make me believe that's a good thing. So I am going to be on the Tide here. I'm just going to take the plus 105. No need to take the points here. Roll Tide, I guess. Ugh. I kind of wanted to sick them today, but we're going to roll Tide today. Oh, let's get into it. Indiana, Ohio State, number 1, number 2. Only one team will come out undefeated in the Big Ten championship going into the college football playoffs. Running back is out for Bama. Uga is nuts, man. All right, Nick, I like your rationale there. Let's go over. If Alabama loses, they're out. No, I don't think if Alabama loses, they're out of the playoffs whatsoever. I really don't. They're going to squeeze Bama in there. Don't you worry. This is a big game here. This is insane. 1 and 2. I mean, both teams clearly going to make the college football playoff, and it's just about seeding now. Which team's going to be 1, which team's going to be 3, so that we have them on opposite sides of the bracket here, barring a huge blowout of any kind like that. If there's a big blowout or something like that, one way or the other, you might see a team slide a little bit more, but I don't see them dropping out of the top 5. Even if there's a big blowout. But Ohio State, 4-point favorites here. 46.5 is the total, minus 198 on the money line. Looking at 48% of the bets on Indiana. So the public slightly leaning on Ohio State. But depending where you're getting the line, what book is putting this line at 3.5? Give me a second here. Oh, why would Hard Rock? Oh, because Hard Rock's new here, so they're trying to get customers. Okay. 3.5. Line opened up at 5.5. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, man, Ohio State. Well, okay, let me start with Indiana, because Cignetti has done an incredible job with Indiana over the last 2 years. He came out and he ran his mouth talking about how good we are, how we're going to run the Big Ten, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he has backed up almost everything he has said outside of winning a national championship and a Big Ten championship. But, and I think this is a better Indiana team than last year. And I think Cignetti would agree that this is a better Indiana team than last year. All 3 phases of the ball, they look really good. However, Ohio State is just, in my opinion, the pinnacle. That is what those Bama teams looked like with Saban when he was on that run. That's what Georgia looked like when they went back to back. This is one of those Ohio State teams that are insane. That are just insane. And I mean, you look around the wide receiver room, you look around, the O-line, D-line, everywhere. I mean, you got draft picks littered around there and 5 stars littered around there. Sayan's doing his job. It's a tough one. And I got to say, as much as I love Cignetti, as much as I love Indiana and think that they have a real shot of going deep into the college football playoffs this year, I don't know if they're going to have enough juice. I just don't know if they're going to have enough juice. Now, that's what makes the line here interesting to me. You're sitting at 4 points. I think this is going to end up being a field goal game. I think Ohio State wins, but I think Indiana keeps this as close as it possibly can be. I'm going to begrudgingly take Indiana plus the 4. I'm going to begrudgingly take Indiana plus the 4. I think Ohio State wins this one. This has the potential to be the best game on the slate today, barring a blowout, barring Ohio State just going nutty. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's wild. It's going to be a hell of a game. What do I think about BYU, brother? Do I think it'll be close? Brother, Evan, yes, I do think it's going to be close. However, I do think Texas Tech is just a little bit better. I'm worried about the lights being a little bit too bright for BYU. They've played too many close games for me where it's like, I think it was, who was it? Arizona State that went to overtime with them, or was that us? I think that was Arizona, didn't we? Did we go to, yeah, we went to, and you know what I mean? And Arizona's defense at that time was not what it was towards the end of the season. And so BYU struggling against Arizona in Tucson there did give me some worries, but I do think that BYU is going to be able to keep this game close. I just don't think it's going to be close enough. I am on Texas Tech minus that. What is that? 12.5 now? Yeah, minus the 12.5. And again, I love the Kalani Sitake story and crumble cookies and everything like that. I just don't think the storyline is going to overarch the play on the field. And I think Texas Tech has just got them there. But BYU should be in the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs, but they won't be if they lose this game. That's an interesting argument. The Ohio State hasn't played anybody argument, and I want to agree. I want to agree, but I mean, I just think that it just feels like they haven't played anybody because they blow them all out. You know what I mean? Illinois was not a bad team this season, 34-16. Texas, and say what you want about Arch and everything like that. I do agree that he is not ready to go into the league yet, and I think another year in college would do him great stuff. However, that was still a good game. That was still a good performance by Texas, and so to say they haven't beaten anybody, I think is hard. I think they're just that much better. Signetti, best coach in college football. Exactly. Exactly, brother. Indiana fans, I don't think they're delusional. No. I think this is going to be a close game. And, the ball bounces one way or the other. This could very well, Indiana could very well win this game. I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibilities that Indiana doesn't win this football game. Because they're number 2 in the country for a reason. They probably should have been number 2 much earlier in the season. And they just were waiting. The committees were fucking AP was waiting for I don't know what. But no, Ohio State is that good. Indiana is that good. Ryan Day, Coach of the Year. I don't know if I'd be giving him that award since he, just because he beat Michigan. Notre Dame making another run. Yeah, they're going to make another run for it. Smitty, 101. Thank you for the follow, brother. Notre Dame's going to make another run. They're safe. They're going to make it in. They're chilling. They're chilling, dog. And Notre Dame is so good. And I know we all want to point to, early weeks and everything like that, but that's what Notre Dame has done in the last 3 seasons under Marcus Freeman. So it's nothing I'm overly worried about. But yeah, going to be a great day in college football. I'm beyond excited about it. Duke, Virginia. I mean, God, that's going to be fun. Notre Dame shouldn't be in? You want? Okay. All right. Want to play this game? I'll play this game. I love this game. Let me get Notre Dame's schedule up because I disagree. And I think it's very much like Ohio State. You didn't beat anybody. Who did you lose to? Okay, yeah, you lost to Miami, who looked really good early. You lost to A&M, who's a top 10 team, and still is. And that was a 1-point loss. I mean, nothing too concerning there, in my opinion. And then what did they do? Oh, they just ran the table and continued to blow teams out. And, I hate this whole, especially with Notre Dame. And it's hard for Notre Dame because the strength of schedule, it varies so much year to year. You know what I mean? It's not like, a couple of years ago, when talking NFL, when you saw the Chiefs on the schedule, it's like, ooh, that's going to be a tough one. You just know year over year, that's going to be a tough one. Whereas in college football, with all the transfers and everything like that nowadays, a team could be really good one year and then lose everybody. And then all of a sudden the schedule is a bunch of cupcakes. That's not their fault. You got to schedule these games so far out in advance. NC State was good a couple years ago. Boise State was good last year. Arkansas is supposed to be good every year. USC is supposed to be improved, and they did improve this year. Same with Pitt. Navy was really good this year. And so that whole they didn't play anyone argument with Ohio State and Notre Dame doesn't really work for me. I wish it did because I would much prefer to see chaos. Absolutely, but it's not their fault. Chan, I'm just saying, brother. I'm just saying. It looks like a steal. It's a tough line, though. Do I watch UFC? I do watch the UFC. Not much during football season. I get into it a lot after football season. Big power slap guy, though. Honestly, I'll probably get back into UFC in January. My lovely wife wants to go to Gaethje Pimlet, and so I might be getting back into the octagon for that, betting wise. Josh, you think Van wins tonight? I haven't been able to handicap, but I like the way Van fights. That'll be a good one. Ohio State plays Michigan. Don't compare them. I'm not comparing them to Michigan. Notre Dame natty champs. I don't know. No, I think Ohio State. Just the way everything is sitting right now, I think Ohio State still wins this. I think it's their natty to lose. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's their natty to lose. Yeah, I'm trying to go in January. We're trying to go in January, so we're going to see. Who do I have in Western Michigan? I'm going Miami, Ohio, personally. And I will say, this is kind of my fault because I've watched more Miami, Ohio games than Western Michigan. And so that's on me. Okay. But with what I've seen, the numbers I've run and everything, I'm comfortable with Miami, Ohio money line. CJ Carr, best quarterback. Love, best running back. I like Love a lot. I don't know if I'd go CJ's the best quarterback. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's any quarterback that has really blown my socks off. That haven't blown my socks off whatsoever. And so, how do you feel about Vandy game? Are you talking college basketball, or are you talking about the alleged random game, exhibition game they tried to get going this week with like Miami and Utah? Which, I don't know if you guys heard about that, but like Vanderbilt was actively trying to get an exhibition game together for this weekend. They talked to Miami and Utah. They couldn't get it to work, but the goal being to essentially put more film on tape for the committee so that they don't forget about them this week, which I think is genius. And I do think it is something that we might start to see in the future. These schools that, are going to be hovering right around there, having contingency plans at the end of the season. Like, okay, hey, maybe we can go ahead and squeeze another game in here during championship weekend, and just so that we have tape, just so that there's something out there like, oh, well, they didn't need to play. They played and they beat, what are we going to do here? So I think that's a very interesting process. I think that's a very interesting thing they're going to be going into. That's a very interesting thing they're going to be going into. I've been watching Notre Dame. I don't think no quarterbacks have blown my socks off this season. And I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. I know we're going to be in the quarterback market early, in the draft this year. I hope we're going to be, oh God, I hope we don't go with like, I don't know. I don't want to talk Cardinals right now, but there's not one quarterback in college right now that's going to be in the draft next year that I'm like, okay, this is the guy I want. Like this has got to be the guy we target. And don't get me wrong, very talented quarterbacks and everything like that. I just think, with NIL spreading so much around in it's hard to, kind of stand out. And, and that goes for the Heisman race. I think the Heisman race is still very up in the air. And a lot of it's going to come down to today. Sonny, I am sorry, brother. I do not do college player props. They are not allowed in Arizona where I live. And so I just, honestly, I don't spend the time. I'm sorry, brother. Do I have saying for Heisman if he wins? Begrudgingly, probably. I think he would be the outright favorite at that point. Again, I think Mendoza and him are, 1-2, maybe. Maybe. That's a hard one, but yeah, saying probably is the front runner at that point. Tech dominates today. Thoughts? I think BYU is going to keep it within 2 touchdowns, but I do like Tech minus the 12.5. Diego Pavia. Bruh. Okay. I take everything I said back about quarterbacks. That's the one quarterback I'd be pumped to have in my locker room. And just because we've been with him for, 2 years now at Vandy, and he's made that irrelevant college, that irrelevant football school relevant again in the SEC. And then, Vandy goes ahead and signs the number 1 quarterback for this next year. That's the Diego Pavia effect. And again, Diego Pavia still believes he's winning a national championship this year, and there is nothing you can do to convince him otherwise. Now, will he maybe be in a rude awakening tomorrow during Selection Sunday? I could see that. I hope BYU gets it back. I would love BYU to win this one. It would be a great ending of the week for Kalani Sitake and BYU with the roller coaster they've been through. But Texas Tech is good. Gary and Mark's card. Thank you for the follow, brother. Appreciate you, dog. But, man, I'm stoked for college football today. I'm stoked, dude. Beyond stoked. Gonna be a good day. Oh, man. Isn't there college ball on today, too? Of course there's college ball on today. What's that U of A spread at? That's what I want to know. I believe we're playing Auburn tonight. Duke or Michigan State? Ooh. All right, thoughts on Bama game? I think Bama Georgia is going to be close. I am rolling Tide on this one, though. I am going to roll Tide on it. but it's going to be a hell of a football game. Duke, Michigan State. Duke 1.5 point favorites. 141.5 is the total. I'm not going to lie to you. Michigan State's really, I mean, usually for Michigan State, you got to wait until, March rolls around or conference championships and stuff. But they've been playing great. Let me just check. Michigan State at home. I'm going to lean Michigan State here. Money line. My system has Michigan State as a 1 point favorite. And so the book realistically, I think, has Duke as a 4.5 point favorite. You give 3 points to the home team. That's kind of where I'm at there. But I got my system's thrown Michigan out there, and I think Michigan State's been solid. Best game to watch for college ball today? It's going to be Bama or Georgia, or it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana. One of those two games is going to be dogs. Where's Arizona, Auburn? Arizona's only 8.5 point favorites. That's it. That doesn't seem. Okay, all right. I got them at about an 8.5 too. I'm going to roll with Arizona. Bear down, go Cats. Arizona's going to kill it. OSU by 3 scores. Jeez. Indy or Ohio State. I'm ready for that. Yeah, that's going to be incredible. I'm again leaning Indy, but. Oh shit, Tower, what's good, bro? Jason, my man, how you doing, dog? Think my Cards can keep in top 6 for a while. I think they have a nice shot against Indiana today. Indiana, they seemed, had a nice November, just like Arizona. One of the only 2 schools to be undefeated in football and basketball going into December. Well, through the month of November, excuse me. And then they kind of decided to shit the bed a little bit. Louisville, Indiana. Ooh. Yeah, Louisville. I got Louisville by 0.5 point. My system's putting it out. So 4.5 points. I think you're seeing a little bit of public love probably going to Louisville after that Indiana loss, but I still like Louisville today, minus that 4.5. I hope you're doing well, Jason. Say hi to the wife for me. Yeah, Arkansas is going to be good this year. Will the Miami-Ohio game go under 58? I don't think so. I have the over 43.5 in that one. So under 58, maybe. Thanks, Tower. OSU kind of tough. Yeah, OSU is going to be good today. That's going to be a hell of a game. I think Ohio State wins, but I think Indiana might cover. And I do think it's going to be like a last-second field goal. Oh, basketball, Ohio State. Duh, my bad, dog. So many college games going on today. Give me a second. Because, Ohio State in basketball is always an interesting one. They're Northwestern's 2.5 point favorites against them. What do I got them at? I got Northwestern by 0.5 point. So, it's kind of is what it is there. But I don't know. Ohio State, let me check their last 5 real quick. Lost to Pitt, MSM, WMU. Notre Dame was a close one. App State. Their defensive efficiency is nice. Yeah, I would roll with Ohio State against Northwestern. I think that might be a nice one for today. Do I watch the NFL? Yeah, brother, I watch the NFL. You betcha. Indiana game is in Indy versus Louisville. I know, yeah, it's going to be a Hoosier crowd, but they've got to split their fan base. Then who's going to go to the playoff game? Go Pack, Ella. Hey, the Bears tomorrow. Whoo, Bears Packers. You better hope Jordan Love doesn't look like he's, I don't know, a freshman quarterback again. Because then that'd be 2 years in a row we win in Lambeau. Ooh, we might need to renegotiate a lease then, Jason. Might need to renegotiate a lease because Aaron Rodgers is up. He didn't even want to face the Bears this year. That's why he had to fake the broken hand. Ooh, Hoosiers winning both games. Indiana parlay today. Whew. Not bad. Not bad, but all right, guys. I do have to go. Rogers is. I do have to go get some stuff done around the house before I sit back, relax, and enjoy an incredible day of college sports. And I hope you do the same too. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, YouTube, X, and over on TikTok. Y'all are the best. If you like what I'm cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. But hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Have an incredible rest of your Saturday. Have a great weekend. I, of course, have been the Brofix one, AJ, and I'll see you guys next time on Degenerate Takes.